Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I'm going to be doing a complete makeover on this table. This table is super old and it has sat outside for a long time. It has gotten a lot of use and it has a lot of work to be done to it. So I'm going to show you guys start to finish how I completely redid this table, so I hope y'all enjoy.
Someone told me this ain't love. There's no way you get into my heart. Someone told me gotta move on. Keep it together before you fall apart. And there's no reason to be numb, but I can't even fall asleep until the dawn. If there's no love, then there's no lost. Whatever you got, I'm about to give it up.
So starting off, I did clean the table really well with some soapy warm water. I just used like a tiny bit of Dawn dish soap. That way it wasn't soapy, but I wanted to kind of like degrease the table. And there were a ton of spider webs on this table, y'all. I was freaking out. I had to use like a broom and this little net to get all the spider webs off. Yeah, I just, this table's old and it needs a lot of love and attention.
Wait a second, I don't need you. Then why so settled? I miswithdrew.
Alright, so just a little update. Right now I'm just, not painting, I'm just painting. I am just cleaning the table right now with some soapy water. I just used a little bit of Dawn dish soap and this little bucket with a sponge just to scrub off all the spider webs, all the dirt, and try to get like the top layer of just nastiness off the table. And then I'm going to go in on the top and sand it down with this hand sander. This is actually my mom's. I'm just borrowing it. This is 150 grit paper. I don't know if I haven't really started just yet to know if that's what I need to be using, but so far I just did like a tiny little test run just to see if it would work, and it's definitely working, and I barely put any pressure on, so I think it'll look really good. And right now I'm trying to debate whether or not I should stain the table or leave it original and just put like the lacquer over the top. So I don't know. I think I might end up having to stain it depending on how light the wood gets once I get to sanding it down, because right now it looks a lot darker, but whenever you start sanding down you're going to get that lighter wood, like right in here you can see, and that's not really the style I want to go for. I want like more of a warm color. So now that I'm done with my project, I wanted to share a couple mistakes that I made. Number one being that I should have gotten a lower number as far as the grit and the paper goes. I should have got something a little bit more coarse because it took forever. I'm not joking, you guys. I went through so many sandpaper like sheets taking the layer off of this table. Mainly because there was oil spill on this table twice. You can see the two big dark spots right there. But I should have used a lower grit paper, which is more coarse, and then went over it with a higher grit paper, which makes the table really smooth. Now this grit paper was 150 and it did make the table super smooth, so I didn't end up having to go over it again, but it was just taking forever. So right there, I was just showing you kind of what the table looked like so far, and I did make sure to go with the grain of the wood. You don't want to go like all in like different directions, or it'll leave like scratch marks all over the table, and that is just definitely not a look you're going to want to go for. So I made sure to go with the grain, and unfortunately because this oil spot was here, it did take a while to get it sanded down enough, but it was totally worth the work.
Still it feels just like I'm waiting for something better. Wait a second, I wanna stay up late with my heart in your head. Maybe stay too much cause you don't understand. You got me gone. You don't understand. You got me gone. But sometimes I might be a bit selfish when you're way too humble.
So right here, I was just showing you that I got like one layer off and there's still a ton of oil marks and just marks on this table. So I obviously kept sanding until I got the table down to a smooth finish.
Give me love, give me all your love, oh, 'cause I want you. No one else makes me feel this way, don't know what you do. Hold my hand, could you hold my hand, look me in the eyes. You and me, yeah, that's all I need, and I'll be alright. I'll be right here, I swear that I'll stay here with you. Hold me closer, I wanna stay here with you. All that we have is each other now, I promise I won't leave your side.
Okay, so progress so far. I have gotten like a couple coats off of this table as far as sanding goes. I just need to sand this area a little bit more. My dad said there was oil spill on this table a couple times, so I still need to get a little bit deeper on this part and over there. But it's super smooth so far, and I love all the knots in the table. It's going to be so pretty once I put like the clear coat over this. I still haven't decided if I'm staining it or not. We will see. I think I'm going to do like a test spot somewhere to see if I like it. Just original, and then we'll go from there. So the clear coat I'm using is this Watco crystal clear lacquer in the semi-gloss, and I'm just sealing the wood before I go in and stain it. I did a ton of research before doing this table on like what products work the best, what I should do, and all of them said to seal your wood before you stain it, at least like a thin coat. That way the stain doesn't soak in the wood so much, and it will make the stain not so blotchy, if that makes sense. So I did do what they said. And one downfall that I did was I should have stained the entire, or I'm sorry, not stained. I should have sealed the entire table, not just the tabletop. And you'll see why at the very end. But for this, I'm just going, dipping my brush in and going in light brush strokes, you know, with the wood grain. You always want to go with the wood grain no matter what you are doing, whether it's painting or sanding, putting a clear coat on. It's very important to go with the grain because that's what keeps the finish smooth. And I will say that this lacquer does smooth out really well on its own. So even though I'm using a like cheap brush, it like flattens out. It doesn't leave brush strokes at all. So which is great, and that's why I also love polyacrylic, because it does the same thing. You could leave a million brush strokes, but it always dries flat and just smooth. So that's why I really like it. But yeah, that's all I'm doing right here is just putting a really thin, quick lacquer coat over this wood just to seal it.
I don't wanna stay here, no. Ain't gonna keep it low now. If you wanna go, let's go. Let's wrap it up and hit the road. I just got an awesome vibe, striking the winner post now. Liberty's on my mind. Taking off, we've left the ground. You gotta understand that we get one chance, one chance. You will never regret the things that we'll do. 'Cause I wanna drive through the summer night, and when we are old and gray, we'll look back at this summer night, this summer night, this summer night. Sleeping in the back of a van, roaming in the wilderness.
So now moving on to the staining portion, I'm using the color Kona in the Rust-Oleum brand, and if you're wondering what's on my hand, it's just a grocery bag, and I'm actually using a old rag to apply the stain. The reason for the grocery bag is just to obviously protect my hand from the stain getting on it. I ran out of gloves and I was not going to go to the store just to buy gloves. The grocery bag works just as good. So obviously, if you can get gloves, it's obviously a little bit easier, but the grocery bag worked great and I didn't get none on my hands, and that's all that I cared about. So all I'm doing is dipping the old rag into the stain and then going with the wood grain back and forth until I get the desired color, and then wiping away any of the excess stain that's on there. So that's how I'm doing it, and it worked great, and I love the way it turned out.
I met him on a sunny day in late July, and everything turned upside down. I almost lost track of time as weeks went by. I couldn't get him off my mind. I told him I want that great love, like standing in the middle of a bonfire. You don't know how you got there, but you hold tight, knowing that you can't get burned. Just tell me how we lost track of everything but each other. I honestly don't know. Tell me how we messed up, drifting away from each other. Didn't wanna let you go, cause we wanted different things, and I have to deal with it, but it's not easy. So tell me how to let go, cause you really seem to know how to carry on your own. Ever since I got a good look in his eyes, I just knew that he was special. Said he wanted to take it slow, but I couldn't help that I wanted to take it to the next level. Cause I wanted that great love, like standing in the middle of a bonfire. You don't know how you got there, but you hold tight, knowing that you can't get burned. Just tell me how we lost track of everything but each other. I honestly don't know. And tell me how we messed up, drifting away from each other. Didn't want to.
So now I'm going to go ahead and seal the wood using the polyacrylic. I love polyacrylic. I know everybody is different. Some people like polyurethane. Some people like using lacquer. I like polyacrylic. It goes on easy and smooth, and I've never had an issue with it streaking or getting foggy in any way. Like, I really like it a lot. So I highly recommend using polyacrylic if you can for your project. Now keep in mind, polyacrylic isn't as strong or as durable as polyurethane, but if you put enough coats, it'll last you forever. So for the painting portion, I did splurge a little bit on the paint, and I wanted to try this out for so long, but I just have never wanted to spend this much money on paint. So for this table, I figured it was worth it and I wanted to try it out. So I bought the Kitz chalk paint, and I have to tell you guys that I am sad that I haven't bought this before, because this little can is gonna go a long way. Everybody was right in the comments of one of my videos, like, chalk paint goes a long way. So I will definitely be using this again. And all I'm doing is just painting it on really roughly. I wanted to have that whitewash look without having to really try to like sand and all that. So as I started painting it, I realized that if I just painted quickly with like really long brush strokes, that it would give me that whitewash look without having to go back and sand and, you know, rough up any of the areas. And y'all will see what I'm talking about as I paint it. By the way, I just wanted to mention that this paint isn't strong at all as far as smell goes. I had the mask on from sealing the wood, so I just kept it on. I just never took it off. I don't know why, but anyway, I just wanted to mention that.
I'm thinking you were made for me. Isn't it my birthday yet? Cause I gotta say, you're looking like a gift for me, wrapped up nice and neat, baby. Get in my way now, don't be shy. We'll be here dancing day and night. Get in my groove now, don't be shy. Cause I got this list of my favorite things. You could be the part where it all begins. You could be the first and the second and the third and the rest of it. You could be one of the things I love. Sunday morning breakfast with my bedroom door locked. I like everything that has a cherry on top. Get on my list of the things I love. You could be the one I trust. All the second chances, they are nothing for us. I like it all with the cherry on top. Be one of the things I love. We don't have to move so fast, baby. baby, I will show you how you can catch my vibe. And right away, got so much time looping in the.
So now that I let the chalk paint sit on there for a day to make sure this is the look I was going for, I just wanted to give it some time to really look at it. This is something I want to keep forever, so I wanted to make sure that it was what I really loved, and I sat on it for a day, and I still loved it when I woke up the next morning, so I went ahead and sealed it. And I just used the polyacrylic to seal it with a sponge. By the way, if you are not a fan of any type of yellowing or like rustic look like that, I would definitely not use polyacrylic on the chalk paint, because in some spots of my table it did yellow a little bit, but it looks like it was meant to be that way, so I don't mind it at all. But this is going to be some before and after clips. I hope y'all enjoyed. I seriously am in love with the way the table turned out. And I hope this gives you some inspiration to get a project done like this. I just want to remind you guys that I'm just a stay-at-home mom. I have never done anything like this before. So if I can do it, you can do it too. So don't be afraid to try new things. You only live once, and you know what? It doesn't hurt to give something a try. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But it's totally worth it in the end if you fall in love with it, with something. And I love this table so much, and I cannot wait to put this in my new home, wherever we decide to buy. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate every one of you, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye.
I don't need nobody else. I got you, and you got me too.
You can ride